The tech world has been buzzing with speculation, rumors, and leaks about Apple's next big wearable, the Apple Watch Series 11. Ever since the Series 10 dropped, enthusiasts and industry insiders have been trying to piece together what Apple's next move will be. Now, thanks to a combination of insider leaks, supply chain hints, and some pretty credible sources, we finally have what appears to be a confirmed release date, and it's sooner than you might think. But that's not all. The pricing strategy for the Series 11 is also shaping up to be quite the surprise, especially in today's inflation-driven tech market. And of course, we have to talk about the top 3 biggest upgrades that Apple is bringing this year, upgrades that might just redefine how we use smartwatches in 2025 and beyond. Welcome to my channel Tech Launch. Subscribe my channel and click on the bell icon for the new tech updates. Let's start with the part that everyone's been waiting for, the release date. According to multiple sources close to Apple's production line, the Apple Watch Series 11 is slated for an official reveal in mid-September 2025 during Apple's annual fall keynote event. If history repeats itself, and Apple loves its traditions, the keynote will happen around September 10th to 12th, with pre-orders starting just 2 days later. Units will then ship out the following week, meaning early adopters could have the Series 11 on their wrists before the end of September. This follows the same timeline we saw with the Series 10, but here's where it gets interesting. Insiders claim Apple has accelerated production this year to avoid the infamous supply shortages that plagued the Series 7 and Series 8 launches. That means more availability on launch day, and potentially shorter wait times for certain configurations. Now, about that price surprise, and trust me, this is where things get really intriguing. Over the past few years, we've seen consistent price increases in tech, especially in Apple's flagship devices. But according to multiple leaks, Apple is not raising the base price of the Apple Watch Series 11 in the United States and most key markets. In fact, early reports suggest the entry-level GPS model will still start at $399, while the GPS Plus cellular version will hold steady at $499. This is despite the fact that Apple is introducing more advanced components, upgraded health sensors, and a potentially more expensive display panel. How is Apple pulling this off? The answer seems to lie in Apple's massive investment in custom silicon production and long-term supplier contracts, allowing them to maintain margins without passing extra costs on to consumers. This move could be Apple's way of making sure the watch remains the go-to choice for fitness enthusiasts, health-conscious users, and tech lovers, without pricing itself out of the mainstream market. Alright, let's get into what you're all here for, the top 3 big upgrades that are making the Apple Watch Series 11 the most exciting wearable in years. Upgrade number 1. Advanced blood glucose monitoring, no needles required. This is easily the most groundbreaking health feature Apple has ever attempted on the Apple Watch. Multiple reports from Bloomberg and Mark Gurman suggest that Series 11 will debut Apple's long-rumored non-invasive blood glucose monitoring technology. This means you'll be able to get accurate readings of your blood sugar levels without pricking your finger or wearing a separate sensor patch. Apple is reportedly using a combination of optical spectroscopy and machine learning algorithms to detect glucose levels through the skin by analyzing the way light interacts with interstitial fluids. While it's not a replacement for medical-grade continuous glucose monitors for diabetics, it's a massive step forward for everyday health tracking, especially for people monitoring their diet, weight, and fitness. Upgrade number 2. A brighter,